Thank you, Faye. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. This is Anfield, but not quite as you know it. This is Anfield frustrated. This is Anfield waiting to turn. It's been an odd week for Arne Slot and his increasingly uneasy relationship with the supporters. 6-0 winners in midweek, but he remains the even money favourite to be the next Premier League manager to be removed from his job. It was just 279 days ago that Liverpool and their Dutch boss clinched the title, but football is becoming an unforgiving profession, and the defence of that title has been a little underwhelming. Despite their historic battles, Newcastle hardly ever beat Liverpool. They hardly ever win after leaving Tyneside, and they certainly never win here. But anyhow, says the midweek trip to Paris proved that Newcastle can play at any ground, in any environment. Well, here, at the hostile surrounds of Anfield, we are about to test that theory. This is TalkSport, the world's biggest sports radio station, at one of the most famous clubs in the world, at one of the most iconic fixtures in Premier League history. It's Saturday night, it's Liverpool against Newcastle United, and it's only here on TalkSport. Yourself up. We mean business tonight. Simon Hooper is the referee, sent off Anthony Gordon, the reverse fixture between these two in August. The VAR is Craig Pawson. Stuart Pearce knows what it's like to play for Newcastle United and captain England. I think you saw Newcastle in midweek, Stuart. What would you say they would have learnt from that trip to Paris that they can bring here to Anfield?
Well, the confidence of getting a result on the road like they did against a PSG side. They stuck in the game, first 20 minutes well outplayed. Made changes in the second half. The speed machines come on up front. They looked a much different outfit in the second half. And from there they'll have to grow. This fixture evokes some brilliant memories.
Well, both Liverpool and Newcastle had positive results and performances in the week. Newcastle coming back to draw that game in Paris, and Qarabag being swatted aside by Liverpool here. Liverpool had a couple of early scares in that match with Qarabag. They lost Jeremy Frimpong in the first few minutes of the match, but they recovered to take control. You'd expect them to be tested a little bit more tonight by, as Stuart coined them, the speed machines. Cody Gakpo has the ball, flicking it off his head, looking for Hugo Ekitike, who Eddie Howe has tried to sign twice in management and failed to do so on both occasions. Liverpool all in red, shooting from right to left towards the Anfield Road end in the first half. Newcastle United in their iconic black and white stripe, shooting from left to right towards the Kop. I'll go through the 2-11s for you in just a second, but the ball is at the feet of the fair-haired Lewis Hall, releasing Gordon into the penalty area. He plays it through the 6-yard box, takes a deflection off of Van Dijk and across in front of Elanga Kane Kerkez, and spooned the ball out for the first corner of the game.
Yeah, we just saw that movement there of Gordon, just zipped him behind. He'd come back onside, then dipped him behind, done Van Dijk a little bit, and I thought his cross should have been beyond Van Dijk. He's gone to shove it through his legs, and that took some of the pace and power and direction off of the ball.
Corner to be taken over on the far side. Alisson is the Liverpool goalkeeper, just organising his troops in front of him, wearing a light green goalkeeping outfit and his dark long hair pinned back by an Alice band. He puts his arms in the air. He is marshalled by Gordon as the ball goes in towards the near post. It's headed away by the commanding Van Dijk, and then it spills out into the midpoint of the Liverpool half, and then Simon Hooper, our referee, just stops the game because there's an issue here, I think, for Joe Willock, who's gone down inside the penalty area. And Willock, the subject of a bit of interest from Fulham. They've rejected a £20 million bid from the Cottagers in the last couple of days.
Yeah, when he went to ground there, it looked quite serious. Alisson was straight over to him straight away. I don't think it's probably as bad as the expectation was. No, he just caught a rogue foot there from Konate, I think it was.
I think he went over on his ankle a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah, just rolled his ankle.
Which is a bit of a concern for him, but he's getting better treatment now away to our right. Gives me the opportunity to go through the 2-11s for you. Alisson, the Liverpool goalkeeper, Szoboszlai, Konate, Van Dijk and Kerkers, Gravenberch and McAllister, Salah, Wiertz and Gakpo behind Ekitike in attack. That's Liverpool. And for Newcastle United, Nick Pope is their goalkeeper, saved the penalty in the first quarter of an hour of the game in Parc des Princes. Trippier, Chow, Byrne and Hall the back four. There's no Botman tonight. He's on the bench, but they're just managing his load. Ramsey, Tonali and Willock the midfield trio. Elanga, Gordon and Barnes up top. Alexander Isak is here. He's sitting next to Joe Gomez behind the Liverpool dugout and in front of the first row of supporters. Just a few paces back from Arne Slot, who stands on the edge of the technical area as we look to get back underway with an uncontested drop ball. Joe Willock, who's had to come off after receiving treatment, is about to come back on from the near touchline. But it's Newcastle United that are on the attack, with Harvey Barnes chasing down. Szoboszlai has to be careful here, heads it back to Konate. He clears from the edge of the area, straight out for a throw-in over on the far side, which Lewis Hall will take for Newcastle, who have actually started the game with their foot on the gas.
Yeah, they have. Tonali's been at the centre of most things, knitting things together in that central area. Now they got a chance to launch a long throw-in from Hall.
Hall sends it short instead to Tonali and then back down the left. It wasn't a great ball by Tonali, and it cannons off ball as Szoboszlai comes out to clear, and it goes out for a throw-in in the right full-back position. Newcastle had that terrible start in the French capital, conceding a penalty in the first moments of the game. Barcola outpacing Miley down that left-hand side. It was a ludicrous penalty, really. I mean, in terms of the way it was awarded. But it was a top save from Nick Pope. Tonali's back on the ball again. Gordon's found Elanga, edge of the area, trying to squeeze it back to Gordon, and the ball just wasn't right. If he'd played it down the inside right channel there, from the edge of the area, he would have played Gordon in, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, he's a little bit short in confidence, I think, Elanga at the moment. I felt last summer he was going to be a wonderful signing for this club. He's just not hit the ground running as Newcastle would have liked.
Salah onto Wiertz, edge of the area. First Liverpool attack is thwarted by Joe Willock. It comes up to Gordon again. He turns away from Konate, speeds down the right. He's got Willock going through the centre. Elanga is in there too. It's Anthony Gordon who's getting a little bit of a howls of derision as he delivers a ball to the far post. It's too deep for Elanga. He might just keep it in far side. He does, and Lewis Hall comes up to join him. He picks it up, doesn't want to play it back to Elanga because he was in an offside position, so he keeps hold of the ball and travels down the left. Szoboszlai puts it out for a corner from the far side, and after the initial cross went over everybody's head, actually Newcastle have made the best of a bad delivery.
Well, that's an understatement. Brilliant pace by Elanga and a sliding challenge to keep it in play, and Hall come onto it and managed to force a corner. So really good play there from Newcastle. I just want to mention as well, fantastic ovation for Kevin Keegan before the game from both sets of fans, Sam. He's suffering a little bit of ill health, so look, my love goes to him and Jean and the family.
And you were, of course, assistant and captain to Kevin Keegan at Manchester City as the ball comes in from the corner into the near post. Byrne goes up with a header, but Van Dijk, I think, got the final flick on that. He nudges it behind and it goes out for a corner kick on this other side of the pitch, the Newcastle United right, and they continue 6.5 minutes now of almost pure Newcastle pressure.
Yeah, and balls into the box in midweek against PSG cause untold problems with the likes of Byrne in there, and they're trying to develop the same strategy this evening.
Yeah, it was a Dan Byrne header which set up the equaliser for Joe Willock, wasn't it, in that game in Paris. Here is Lewis Hall to take the corner, wide on the right, in front of the Kop. 4 at the back post start to dart towards the near, including Chow. It goes towards the goalkeeper, who completely missed it, but he was being blocked off there. And the referee not happy, and nor was Allison, who's pushed Dan Burn in the chest. In fact, I don't know who he was trying to go after, but he ran into his teammates and then turned around and saw that Dan Burn was standing right next to him, so he turned and pushed him instead.
Yeah, I think Dan Burn suggesting that he went down slightly cheaply. Well, Dan Burn's come through 3 Liverpool defenders before he actually got to Allison, so he's had physical contact with 4 players there on the run that he...
Dan Burn's got a case for being fouled. He was being tugged back 3 times before he got to Allison.
Well, it's fair to say there's obstruction in there somewhere, because the Liverpool players are making no attempt to head the ball. They're just trying to block the run.
Big game, by the way, in Scotland tonight. Dundee United against Hearts. Tannadice actually waterlogged in midweek, which meant that Dundee United had the night off, but apparently the pitch is playable today. It's 0-0 at the moment between a team trying to get into the top 6 and a team that are trying to win the title. Here is Tonali on the near touchline, taking the ball out towards the right-hand side. He manages to hand off McAllister, who feels he's been elbowed here. And the referee is calling a halt to play because Tonali is being accused of using his elbow into the throat of McAllister. Now VAR will look at it, I'm sure. No, it was Anthony Gordon who shrugged him off. Tonali was wrestling with Wiertz. Gordon just pushed him off because he felt that McAllister was holding him. Now McAllister is holding his throat,
and it wasn't his throat.
Yeah. I mean, if it was his throat, it wasn't, as he is suggesting, that he was grabbed around his throat.
Yeah, there was physical contact between him and Gordon. Gordon's thrown a couple of arms away to try and get him away from the situation, but he's caught him square on the chest, and he's gone down holding his throat, as you mentioned.
Yes, I think a word in the ear from Simon Hooper is about all that will be required here, and nothing more than that. Van Dijk has been called over, so has Anthony Gordon. Liverpool 0, Newcastle United 0 on TalkSport with Sky Sports. And don't forget that with Now you can stream all of this Sky Sports action flexibly, like Manchester United versus Fulham live tomorrow. Search Now Sports. And tomorrow, by the way, we've got a cast of absolute thousands with us on Game Day Live from 1:30 tomorrow. Rhian Skinner, Gabby Bonahorse, Scott Minto, Alex Crook, Mickey Gray. We've got a huge amount of matches to bring you and keep you in touch with tomorrow, and we'll do that and enjoy doing so tomorrow from 1:30 on TalkSport. Can't wait for that, but we've got a big football match to get through first, and remember, straight after this game you'll be able to have your say with Adam Catterall and Jermaine Pennant. 03717222344. Willock trying to escape the attentions of Gravenberg, who did grab him round the body as the throw-in came in from the left-hand side. It is a free kick to Newcastle, 12 yards inside opposition territory, and again, Stuart, we haven't really seen the ball inside Newcastle's half of the field, apart from one foray by Liverpool.
Yep, you're totally right. Newcastle have settled into the game, the better of the two teams. And I tell you who catches my eye recently, Tonali. I've been really impressed with him. When someone does the right things the majority of the time, that's definitely him.
Trippier into Burn from the free kick. It's loose on the edge of the box. It's picked up by Hall left side. Tries to go on the outside of Szoboszlai, who's sticking to his task well, and ends up forcing him to ground. It goes out of play and out for a throw-in, and Simon Hooper refuses to give the free kick in Lewis Hall's favour. Lewis Hall thinking that he was going to get a foul over on the far side there by going to ground. He's given handball, I think.
Yeah, I think Hall's gone down trying to get the foul and ended up falling on the ball.
Oh, it's gone back towards Alisson, and then Anthony Gordon has just left something on Alisson as he's challenged for the ball, and he's going to get a yellow card. And the Anfield crowd absolutely loved that, because he's a former Everton player. He got sent off against them in the match up at St James's Park. But it was a terrible back pass and a terrible touch, and he went sliding in to challenge for the ball. He was late, Anthony Gordon, but he had to try and go for it.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I thought the goalkeeper sort of, played up to this a little bit. Having watched the replay, the referee's got it quite right, giving a yellow card. Gordon was late and a little bit too far away from the ball for my liking, but I've got to say, Alisson dangled the ball there, didn't he, with a wayward touch that encouraged Gordon to come on at that speed.
I mean, it was definitely a foul. But if he hadn't have gone after that ball, the Newcastle fans would have been absolutely furious, because it was a heavy touch from Alisson, and it was a risky ball, actually. I think Szoboszlai played it in from the right full-back position, Stuart.
Yeah, it was. The goalkeeper really needed to help it on with one touch. He didn't do that, and Gordon was coming from that left side to the towards the goalie, but he was in full flight, so he covered the ground really quickly.
Well, Newcastle United have had 65% of the ball at Anfield in the opening 13 minutes, and there is a little bit of frustration in the air. There was before I came here against Karabag on Wednesday night, and now Elanga's gone down wanting a free kick after a collision with Kerkez. The referee has said play on. Kerkez is clearing from the left full-back position, but it's a Newcastle head on it first, and Liverpool just have not found their feet in this game.
No, they haven't. Both sets of players at the moment trying to kid the referee with free kicks, over-exaggerating fouls, and I wish they'd on occasion just get on with it and let us members of the public enjoy a really good game of football, which they're both capable of.
Hearts are leading away at Tannadice by 1-0. That means they'll stretch their lead at the top of the table to 7 points from Rangers, who play tomorrow. So does Celtic. Will feature them on Game Day Live. 13 gone. It's 0-0 between Liverpool and Newcastle, and Liverpool have possession. That is the headline. Konate to Szoboszlai inside his own half, but it's at walking pace. This is something that the Anfield crowd have been getting a little bit frustrated with. Van Dijk now on the edge of the centre circle. Yes, they're banked up, Newcastle United, but they're not moving the ball around with any purpose here. It's then scooped forward by Konate straight into the arms of Nick Pope, and Newcastle have got it back again. Now he says, Arne Slot, that in between both boxes he's more than happy with the way Liverpool are playing, but he says they're lacking that killer instinct to take all the chances that are coming their way, and there's a bit of indecisiveness in their defensive zones. And we've already seen that at one end. We haven't seen any of the lack of ruthlessness, because Liverpool haven't had the ball in the box at the other end. But they might have it now. Lovely little bit of skill on halfway by Gakpo, who accelerates past Trippier. Willock coming back, wins the ball well. Tonali comes back and sweeps up, and it's cleared away by Lewis Hall. And then it's flicked on by Gordon, and Langa tried to get in behind and run through the middle. And it's switched up by Alisson away to our right-hand side.
Yeah, super play there by Gakpo. Picked it up, drove through two players. He was just crowded out eventually when he was trying to get his pass away.
Now it's picked up by Salah down the right side, looking for the run of Florian Wirtz, who crosses the ball into the centre, but that's going to be headed away by Dan Burn. I'm not entirely sure that crossing the ball into the box for the Liverpool strikers is going to be the best route to goal tonight, with Dan Burn and Malik Thiaw in there. And as good as Ekitike is in the air, he's going to have his difficulties going up against those two. Here is McAllister, deep inside his opponent's half, nudging the ball to the right, and then Szoboszlai. Now it's on to Salah, who tries to feed the ball between a very tight gap. Lewis Hall nudges it towards the far side, then tried to keep it in the left full-back position, but couldn't reach it. Goes out of play. It's a Liverpool throw. 15 gone, 0-0. Yeah,
I think the thought process with Liverpool about the dynamic attack, it's certainly that they don't attack with the pace and the cutting edge that we've seen in previous years, without a doubt. And who is responsible for slowing play down slightly? Well, that is a question. I think they miss Núñez and Diaz in that respect, you know, because they've got really outstanding pace, especially Diaz. I think he's a real miss at the moment this season.
Yeah, it is a lack, isn't it, in their team? They don't really have that speed merchant which they have had at previous moments.
Yeah, and even when you look at people like Núñez, I know he missed a lot of chances in the ranks, but the one thing he did do, he made those runs and he caused problems in the back line.
He was a bit of a chaos creator, wasn't he? Well, I suppose for all the pessimism, Liverpool's defeat to Bournemouth at the weekend was their first in 14 matches. And Arne Slot has talked a lot about how tiredness has affected his stretched squad, and he said he saw that towards the latter part of that game in particular. And it's been costly, but both teams have got that issue, haven't they, playing too many games. The crossfield pass is aimed from halfway out towards the far side, looking for Salah. He raises his leg towards the ball but can't reach it.
Yeah, it's the price of success, the games. You know, you would never want it any other way as a player. You want to play all the games, you want to play the big games, you want to go to the final stages of any cup competition, but with that comes a little bit of fatigue, but if you want to be successful.
Ball picked off by Gakpo, edge of the area. Ekitike turning, shooting towards the far corner, and the first shot on target from Liverpool comes from Hugo Ekitike. No surprise about that, but Pope was equal to it. Immediately Pope releases Trippier down the right-hand side. He looks for a run, and Elanga maybe just went a little bit early, and Trippier realised that, so check back, came infield. He then gives it to Willock. Willock weaving his way into the penalty area, running into Szoboszlai, and then the ball is cleared by Konate into the crowd. Actually, Trippier just explaining to Elanga why he didn't feed him the ball. He initially apologised to it, but then he thought, actually, I thought you were running offside, and that's why he delayed making that pass down the right-hand side. It remains 0-0.
Yeah, I don't think that pass was on. I think it was a wise decision by Trippier. And good play by Willock with a little show and drag.
Throwing over on the far side to be taken by Lewis Hall of Newcastle United, who have had the better of it so far, in towards Dan Burn, who had to stoop to try and flick that on. He wins the second header. It's away by Van Dijk. I mean, those two could play head tennis for about an hour, I think, Van Dijk and Dan Burn. The ball is sent forward by Trippier, and that's a really poor ball, and it's allowed Mo Salah to run into green grass behind him. He gets into the box, he needs a bit of support, he comes in field for some reason unexplained, and Trippier plays it off Salah. It goes out for a goal kick. Why on earth didn't he run towards goal and shoot?
Well, that's what he should have done, to be fair. Trippier recovered pretty well, but Salah slowed down just to get his foot in, I think, and in the end Trippier had enough time to get back. What he should have done is just left it across the face of goal. Two Liverpool players, Wirtz being one of them, certainly had a great opportunity to roll it in, but listen, Newcastle got away with one there for sure.
What a let-off for Newcastle. I mean, it was a mistake by Trippier in the first place. He recovered really well, but ultimately Mo Salah is ruthless best, and maybe that is the ruthlessness that Arne Slot is saying that they are lacking at the moment. Now, that was a great chance. He should have at least got a shot away there, Mo Salah.
Yeah, I think in his pomp he would have either got the shot away or cut inside, took Trippier on inside and then slotted one across. Alternatively, the roll across the face of goal would have caused even more problems.
It's 0-0. This is TalkSport. We are 20 minutes into the final Premier League game of the day. Chelsea have come back from 2-0 down to beat West Ham. Arsenal thumped Leeds away from home. Here's Salah on the right-hand side, trying to get the cross into the box, and then he has a kick out at Joe Willock, who sent the ball long and found Anthony Gordon, and then he's realised he's found Anthony Gordon, so he's bounced back up. Here's Gordon down the left-hand side, looking for Barnes in the centre, and he almost found him. It was only the outstretched right foot of Virgil van Dijk that stopped it from coming through to Newcastle's top scorer. It's out for a corner.
Well, a great counter-attack there, great movement for the second time here. The spin by Gordon going in behind Konate, brilliant, stayed onside, and really well cut out by Van Dijk. And Salah just left a little bit of something on, I think it was at Hall back
Willock.
there. Willock, I don't think there was anything too contentious.
I thought it was quite contentious, though, that Willock went down complaining he was really seriously injured, and then when he realised that Anthony Gordon had got away, he bounced back up like a jack in a box.
Yeah, we've had a few players go down already in the 20th minute, and no one's been seriously injured, I can assure you.
Here's the corner from Trippier towards where the goalkeeper is. He misses it because it was taken off his head by Gakpo, who glances it out for another corner. Well, that was dangerous.
Well, it certainly is, because the goalkeeper at the moment is not showing confidence with bodies around him. As I say, it's a real crowd scene. He's ended up pushing, Alisson's pushing Gordon off of him, and in the end it was Gakpo who got the glance to put it out for a corner.
We're in the 20th minute, and as always at Anfield, it is at this juncture that the crowd remember Diogo Jota. Forever number 20. The banner reads, and they continue to sing his song, they remember his story, and he will never be forgotten. Corner comes in, goes over everybody and out for a goal kick away to our right hand side. Liverpool 0, Newcastle United 0 on TalkSport. And Brighton 1, Everton 1 was another scoreline from the Premier League today, and Bournemouth 2-0 winners away at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Tomorrow whole host of Premier League games and games from the Scottish Premiership, the WSL and beyond. We're on Game Day Live from 1:30. We've got live football for you on Monday Night Football. TalkSport 2, we're bringing you the game between Sunderland and Burnley. Here is Cody Gakpo for Liverpool on the attack down the left-hand side. A back heel from Wiertz is played blind and is picked off by Trippier, who's then helped to the floor. He wins the free kick. The Liverpool fans aren't happy about that with Simon Hooper, and they complain about his award of the free kick inside the area away to our left-hand side, but that's what's going to be given. And it's been a frustrating first quarter of the game for Liverpool. They've had one shot on target, stopped by Nick Pope from Ekitike. They had a breakaway from Mo Salah, which he probably should have done much better with, bearing in mind that he has 19 goal involvements against Newcastle. You would have banked on him to at least get a shot away. He didn't, and really the most aggressive side so far in the game have been Newcastle United.
Yeah, that movement, I mean, this front three up front, especially Gordon. Gordon's done really well, dipping back onside to peel in behind on occasion, alternatively coming short to spin behind. It's causing the odd problem.
Goalless on TalkSport. Here is Ibrahima Konate, back after personal absence because of a tragedy in the family. Signs it, posts it out towards the right-hand side where it's won by Szoboszlai. Van Dijk, back to Alisson, the goalkeeper. He wanders out into the D and gives it to Konate again. And Liverpool keeping the ball inside their own half. And again, this is the sort of metronomic, slow, controlled build-up that the fans get a little bit irate about. And you can hear them now just starting to get annoyed and forcing Alisson to kick long. Gakpo flicks it on, it's eaten up by Elanga, and Newcastle United will get it away because Kirkes pulled him down. I mean, he's going mad, Kirkes, like he's done nothing wrong, but he did grab hold of his shirt and drag him to the floor.
Yeah, this is a sad thing probably about the game in many ways. It's waiting to develop a little bit of style, and I've got to say probably both sets of players are making the referees this evening very, very difficult.
Liverpool 0, Newcastle United 0 on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they are here for it. We'll hear from both Liam Rossigna and Nuno Espirito Santo at half-time with Faye, so don't go anywhere. Here's Anthony Gordon steering the ball out expertly out to the left-hand side, and Barnes, who gallops up to the edge of the area, comes in on his right foot and then gets tripped to the floor by Gravenberch. And a free kick is given, and the Liverpool crowd moan about it, but it was a foul, and it was a foul induced by the fact that Harvey Barnes took the ball run up to Gravenberch. Gravenberch did commit one on the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, he's dangled a leg there. Small contact, but there was contact. I think personally Barnes, when he come inside, he should have cut one outside him to Hall. It made a brilliant run outside him, but they're causing problems. Really good hold-up play once again by Gordon. He's looked very lively this evening.
Well, Kieran Trippier not scored this season. His only assist came in the Champions League, but he is a free kick specialist of sorts. Probably hasn't scored one for a little while, but he is certainly someone who can strike from this sort of range, as Croatia found out in the World Cup semi-final quite a few years ago now.
For a right footer, this is absolutely perfect. Just on the arc of the D on the edge of the box to the right-hand side. Perfect for a right footer.
His last goal was against Luton Town in a 4-4 draw in February 2024, nearly 2 years ago.
Yeah, whatever happened to them?
It comes back to Barnes, who strikes it and hits the inside of the post. What a shot! Lovely little layoff by Lewis Hall, who stepped over the ball and backheeled it into the path of Harvey Barnes, and Harvey Barnes struck it like a rocket and it rattled the Anfield post.
Well, really well worked there. He's shaped it, he's killed it, he's taken it outside the blockers that are charging, and he's just put too much on it. And I think credit to Gravenberch, he's done a really good job of being a barrier that Barnes had to go round.
Trippier to the far post, looking for Gordon, flicked away by Gakpo, it's out, and Liverpool are under pressure. 27 minutes gone, it's been all Newcastle United, and at Anfield they don't like this sort of thing. This is not what they're expecting from the team that were champions of England last year. Arne Slot standing on the edge of his technical area, demanding a response from his team, who have looked a little bit slow, a little bit passive in the early parts of the game. It's been all Newcastle, but they haven't taken advantage themselves yet, and they may be ruining those missed opportunities. Here is Trippier to take the corner from the near side. The Newcastle right. It's Newcastle delivering the ball in towards the near post, and actually Chow got something on that. It bounced off a red shirt and goes out for another corner.
Yeah, as I say, Liverpool were adamant that it wasn't a corner, but until we see the replay, difficult to tell.
McAllister was bellowing at Simon Hooper and asking him, who? The corner does go out in favour of Newcastle, who swing it in through Trippier to the far post, headed down by Chow, clear just in front of the goalkeeper by Ryan Gravenberch, who volleys it away, comes back out to Hall onto the left and Barnes, back to Hall again, Hall with a cross into the area, it comes all the way through to Burn and he's missed it. It went past Chow, it went past Willock, it went past Allison, Konate and Van Dijk, came through to Burn at the far post, but he couldn't get on the end of it.
I've got to say, as good a cross as you'll see. Great set-up on that far side, and Hall has whipped a ball in right behind the back line. Allison, all at sea, didn't know what to do, whether to come or whether to stay, and it just needed a little touch. But what a cross by Lewis Hall.
Wow. Well, Malik Chow has hurt himself in the process of attacking that, and I think he might have injured himself quite badly. He's got back up now and is slowly getting back into it. I hope that's not a hamstring injury. It looks like it might be, you know.
Well, it looked like an overextension, didn't it? With that left leg that he's limping on at the moment.
Well, you hope that it's nothing more than just an overextension, because if he has an issue, then they've got a bigger issue, because they've already lost Fabian Schär for a few more weeks. Jason Tindall just goes back down to sit in the dugout after consultation with Eddie Howe as we get back underway with a throw-in on this near side. But it's been Newcastle have been the most likeliest to open the scoring here. They've hit the post already through Harvey Barnes, and here he is on the edge of the area trying to take on Szoboszlai. Didn't quite get hold of the ball, but Liverpool again poorly tried to clear it, didn't do very well at all. Konate has made a challenge over on the far side, but the referee has penalised that. And even if he hadn't have penalised it, Stuart, Lewis Hall had the ball over on the far side. It wasn't a great tackle anyway, because he got no distance on it.
Yeah, I don't know whether there was any contact with the player or the ball. I think he's got enough of the ball not to. I don't know on this occasion why the referee just didn't play on. There's no point in pulling that up. Newcastle had advantage of having the ball, and obviously all it does is incendiary the crowd a little bit more.
What it does do is it gives them another opportunity to put a high ball into the box, unsettle this very vulnerable looking Liverpool defence. 29 minutes gone, Liverpool 0, Newcastle 0. Newcastle absolutely all over Liverpool and Anfield, which is unheard of really. Trippier taking a bit of time over this one. He'll arc this right-footed into a crowded penalty area. It's in towards the near post. It's headed straight away by Szoboszlai. Comes to Tonali, who gets over it and strikes it, but he hits it far too wildly over the top of the crossbar, and it's out for a goal kick away to our right. Now, are we over the top in our assessment here, or Liverpool playing poorly?
They're not causing Newcastle too much of a problem at present, but I'm not sure you could write Liverpool off at any given time. They've got the ability to turn absolutely nothing into a goal. But Newcastle are the better side at present, for sure.
Half an hour gone. And it's the Newcastle fans that you can hear away to our left-hand side making that noise. It's goalless. It's not goalless at Tannadice. It's 2-0 to Hearts away at Dundee United. There's 11 games before the split, and Hearts edging towards that title. Here is Malik Chow, played in by Jacob Ramsey on the edge of his own penalty area. Newcastle with possession again. Hall, chased by Salah, twists away from him, comes infield, takes the ball into a tight area, and then manages to stab the ball away, gives it to Tonali, and then rides another challenge, and now Newcastle are on the attack, down the left-hand side with Joe Willock. He picks it up in front of Konate, and then miscontrols it, goes out of play. Now they're annoyed that Lewis Hall jumped into a tackle, but actually I think he did quite well in difficult circumstances.
Yeah, he did, but he created those problems for himself. He's overrun the ball. I don't know what he was thinking about, and he's ended up launching himself in the air to retrieve a really poor situation. I think he got lucky that Wirtz jumped out the way.
He should have jumped out the tackle, didn't he, Wirtz?
Yeah, he did. If he'd have gone for it, he'd have won the ball, and then the only solution to that situation was Hall clearing him out.
Here's Wirtz picking it up in the number 10 position. Yet to see much of him so far in the game. He flicks it to Gravenberch and then on to Szoboszlai. Liverpool coming forward for the first time in a while. Now Salah, who tries to feed it infield, he gives it straight to Lewis Hall, and Hall's got no one in front of him, so he's trying to get down the right hand side. He plays it against Szoboszlai and wins a throw-in over on the far side. Actually, he might have gone straight out of play with that. It's a Liverpool throw.
Yeah, you've got to admire Hall trying to keep possession in a tight area with no one in front of him. He'd have been better off just sliding it up the wing and encouraging one of his teammates to get after it.
Ball back on halfway with Konate, and Liverpool struggling to find momentum and struggling to build, but Gravenberch's got the wrong side of the midfield here, and he's released Ekitike, who's shot into the box. He's poured away by the big right arm of Nick Pope and then cleared out to the far side. It doesn't quite go out for a corner just yet. Now it does, and it drops out for the first Liverpool corner of the game. 0-0.
Well, I've got to say, just emphasising the point there, Liverpool shown not a great deal up to now, and all of a sudden McAllister's turned one round the corner in midfield. It ends up with Ekitike going through on goal, and it took a decent save from Pope.
First corner of the game for Liverpool. Newcastle have had 7 prior to this. 33 minutes gone. Salah delivering the ball deep into the area. Out comes Pope. He's so big, he's so massive. He commands his penalty area brilliantly, and then he bowls it out to Trippier on this near side. A little reverse inside ball to Elanga, who sort of controlled it but kept hold of the possession, and then Tonali rushed the pass out to Gordon. It was imprecise, cut out by Gravenberch, and Liverpool have it back again now. Collected on this near touchline by Kirkes, and then into Ekitike. Ekitike trying to hold up the attention of Trippier. It's fascinating to hear Anthony Gordon talk about the differences between the Champions League and the Premier League in the build-up to the game in midweek, and how it's so much more physical and transitional in the Premier League, and there's a lot more football played in Champions League matches. Well, this game maybe just starting to break out into a more transitional match. Here is Salah, right side, into the area. He's crossed towards the near post, is too close to Nick Pope, who launches himself at the ball, gobbles it up in front of Ekitike, and will clear for Newcastle United.
Yeah, good goalkeeping there. Just called it on the half volley, very low. And if truth be known, Salah put a very good ball in.
Well, Elanga feels he was fouled on the near touchline by Kirkes. The referee's allowed things to continue. It's collected by Gravenberch, and now it's out to Salah. Far side the Liverpool right, trying to take on Hall into Florian Wirtz. Back to Salah again. Now on to Gravenberch. Tried to pull the trigger, then delayed it, and then was robbed. And now they're in trouble because Anthony Gordon is speeding through the middle, but Malik Thiaw's ball is not good enough, and Ibrahima Konate sends it back towards Alisson.
Yeah, we just seen part of Newcastle's game plan there. Thiaw turned it over, he drove with the ball, but he's looking for a pass too early. He's got to wait until Gordon and Elanga have found positions beyond Liverpool's backline.
Just a little bit too eager to play the ball there, Malik Thiaw. But the game plan obviously looks correct, because Liverpool were backpedaling, and had they got either Elanga or Gordon in, there was a lot of green grass to run into. Here's McAllister. Good defending again by Trippier. Gakpo's gone down, but he didn't really have anyone near him. It's now picked up by Barnes. Barnes faces up, looks at Szoboszlai. Gravenberch did enough to win the ball back. He turns it over high up inside opposition territory, then strikes, hits Dan Burn. It bounds out towards this near side where Trippier is awaiting, and now Elanga has got it. He goes away from Wirtz and comes infield, gives it to Dan Burn, who wants to send it out towards the far side, the left, where Willock is waiting for it. He gallops up over halfway. He's encouraged to go down the left side. He's got Hall on the overlap. He feeds it infield to Barnes. Barnes, who helps it on to Gordon. Gordon steers it into the far corner, and Newcastle United lead. And his first goal from open play in the Premier League in over a year comes at the cop end. The boy from Liverpool, once of Everton, is back in the city to put Newcastle United in front. It's a lovely breakaway goal for Newcastle. One designed by Eddie Howe and executed by Barnes and Gordon. And Newcastle United have taken a deserved lead at Anfield. They're in front by a goal to nil.
Yes, they have. And where does this danger come from? And it's been consistently coming from the left-hand side of Newcastle's attack. Hall starting forward, Salah's not going with him, and Barnes on that side, Hall on that side are causing problem after problem, and it's that man Gordon who's been very, very good in his movement. He picked it up on the box. Kirkes has shut him down, but he's driven it straight through Kirkez's leg into that far corner. It's that left side, it's the right side defensively, isn't it? You know, you put Szoboszlai there, a midfielder, to play right back, which is fine, but Salah's got to help him out a little bit more on occasion.
I have to say, it's also a brilliant finish from Anthony Gordon, isn't it?
Indeed it is, Sam, yep.
He squeezed that into a tight gap beyond Alisson, and Anthony Gordon has scored the opening goal. 32 games since his last open play goal for Newcastle United in the Premier League. He scored in the Champions League and in cup competitions, but to score a goal like that at Anfield, he's had some critics as well this season, Anthony Gordon, from the Newcastle fans, but I tell you what, they're loving him right now. Here is Gravenberch, Ekitike, back to Gravenberch, Malik Thiaw with a sliding challenge just in front of Nick Pope, puts the ball out and away for a corner kick.
Well, super play by Liverpool there, interaction on the edge of the box, a little give and go. If I was Ekitike there, I would have been tempted to unload myself. I really would. He's been totally unselfish and laid the ball back, but just too far, and Thiaw got across very well.
Liverpool did manage to score from a corner in the Premier League at Bournemouth, and they send this one into the near post, but it's a poor delivery by Salah, and it's fended away by Burns straight away. Back into the box, picked on by Konate. Ekitike going through the middle, and then was there a handball there by Ekitike? He's gone down after a collision. The referee says nothing, and it's thrown out to the far side, and Joe Willock.
Yep, and off they go again, Newcastle, down this left-hand side.
And again, Ekitike was trying to draw the attention of the referee, but Newcastle had already started their attack. They come centrally to Tonali, then back to Gordon, then Gordon to Tonali again, then to the right-hand side, and it's played into Gordon, who's in behind McAllister. He's in the box now, down the right side, steering it into the area, pushed away by Alisson. And there was no one there following up for Newcastle United.
I've got to say, brilliant play once again, great movement by Gordon.
That's terrific.
His teammates should have done a little bit more for him.
Absolutely terrific from Anthony Gordon, who's having a great game. Here is Salah down the right-hand side, not so much. He picks the ball up, plays it against Hall, gets it back again, steers it centrally. It's away by Trippier, picked up by Gakpo, didn't look comfortable there. It's into McAllister, who tries to find the inside right run from Mo Salah. Barnes juggles with it, Ekitike nabs it, he picks it up and runs into the box down the right side. He's being followed by Willock and Barnes. There's a difference in terms of work rate. Szoboszlai slides it down the right into Salah, who shoots, stopped by Pope round the post, but the offside flag was up anyway. Well, it's currently Liverpool 0, Newcastle United 1. The latest odds from Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage. Right now you can get Liverpool to win at 11-4. The draw is 5-2. Newcastle even money to go on and win the game. That's all thanks to Betfair. Play in a different league this season with safe sub from Betfair. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Yeah, the game's accelerated in tempo at the moment. Liverpool, a couple of decent 1-2s on the edge of the box, give and goes. Newcastle coping with that, and that left-hand side of Newcastle's attack is certainly proving very, very difficult for Liverpool to deal with at the moment.
Certainly, that is the case. Here's Ekitike, though, coming forward for Liverpool, finding Gakpo, and then out to Salah inside the area on the Liverpool right. He tried to get a shot away with his left. It bounces back into the path of Florian Wirtz, and he pokes it into Ekitike, and he nabs it through the legs of Nick Pope, and there's the equaliser for Liverpool. Ekitike, the man who Newcastle United wanted to sign in the summer, scores against them from Liverpool. It's another goal for him, his 14th of the season. He has been their most settled summer signing, and he has struck again. It's Liverpool 1, Newcastle 1.
Well, Salah got the ball on the right-hand side, and to be fair, he doesn't look as though he could beat anyone at the moment. The ball that he attempted to put in the box just cannoned off feet. But when the ball come in, it got to the far post area, and Liverpool had enough numbers around, little give and goes, and Wirtz, brilliant pullback. Ekitike a little toe bung, and it's 1-1.
Brilliant. Hugo Ekitike, and it's absolutely sensational from Florian Wirtz. His feet to go past Ramsey, to go past Trippier, to steer it beyond Chow. And then the desire of Ekitike to crash the 6-yard box and poke it past Pope. But they've got a problem here, Liverpool, because Joe Willock is steaming forward and he's got support to his left and he tries to get a toe end on the ball and it comes off of Van Dijk and goes behind. And they were breaking away, counter-attacking in behind the Liverpool defence, who were all at sea, and Willock almost made it 2-1.
Well, I'm not sure where the back line of Liverpool were. Szoboszlai got back and it was Van Dijk eventually that made the challenge that kept Willock from scoring.
1-1 the score, live on TalkSport on this Saturday night. Liverpool 1, Newcastle 1. Liverpool-Newcastle never disappoints. In front of the Kop, Newcastle have a corner kick over on the far side. Tonali to deliver. In towards Burn, punched away by Alisson. Just about. He got a glancing header on that, Dan Burn, and Alisson had to push it clear. Back in by Tonali from the left-hand side. Burn is still up chasing it. He's blocked off by Gravenberch. High fives from Konate, and it goes out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. Well, Liverpool were on the back foot for 30 minutes. They went 1-0 down, and now they've started to counter-attack, and there's spaces everywhere. And Ekitike has found one. He's running down the left. He's poked it into the far corner, and Liverpool have turned it around. Newcastle United caught upfield. Liverpool quick thinking, they take the goal kick, they spot the space down the left-hand side, and Ekitike, breaking into the left-hand channel, pokes it beyond the advancing goalkeeper, and somehow Liverpool, who have hardly had a kick in this first half, lead by 2-1 before the break.
Well, Eddie Howe's on his haunches, scratching his head there. He can't believe it. They've come close to scoring at one end. They've switched off. They've not recovered shape. And Ekitike has ended up dragging it outside Chow and then toe poking it once again. It's a great style of finish if you can get it right. Pope wasn't set. And Liverpool were 2-1 up. Whether they deserve to be or not is an argumentative point, but they certainly are.
Wow. Well, they probably don't deserve to be 2-1 in front, but they are. And as Stuart Pearce said, you know, we were talking about how poor they were playing in that first half an hour, but he said, don't write off Liverpool because they've got the weapons that can hurt other teams, and certainly they've showed that tonight. They lead by 2-1 a minute before half-time, and Hugo Ekitike has got another one. I don't think, and maybe I'm being premature here, Stuart, but the scoring is over.
That's an understatement.
Here's Ekitike, onto Florian Wirtz, tries to nudge it back towards Ekitike, but he overhits it, goes behind, it's out for a goal kick away to our left.
Listen, I admire Wirtz for what he's trying to do, set teammates up and the like, but he's had a couple of opportunities here where he's got to be a little bit more selfish than that and go for goal.
What a chance. He was on the edge of the area, could have pulled the trigger himself, went to try and set up his teammate, and the chance goes a-begging. It remains 2-1, but Ekitike and Wirtz, the two summer signings that really, I think, caught the eye. I think Alexander Isak obviously was going to be the most talked about one because of the transfer saga that ensued, but those two quietly have found their feet in the Premier League, and when Liverpool have been flailing everywhere else, those two have come up with some big moments this season. I mean, he's got something special, hasn't he, Ekitike? Confidence is certainly not a problem for him. He's got a swagger and style about him which really suits his role. Szoboszlai dispossesses Barnes on halfway and then jumps forward into a right wing position. It's picked up by Salah into the area. Szoboszlai with a chance to deliver it, and before it can reach McAllister, it's punched away by Malik Chow. There's going to be 5 minutes of added time at the end of the first half.
Yeah, much better by Liverpool. As you notice now, we criticised early in the half that the build-up was a little slow. The last couple of build-ups have been very quick. They put 3 and 4 players in the box as quick as you can, and it's unhinged Newcastle.
Certainly has. Salah to take it far side, the corner.
Eddie Howe will go in the dressing room and he'll be scratching his head because in general his team haven't played bad and they've caused problems to Liverpool, but clinical nature of the finishing.
Here's the corner in towards Ekitike, who had to jump on Malik Chow, and he miscued the header and it goes behind and away for a goal kick.
Yeah, as I say, the clinical nature of the finishing in the Premier League is such that you cannot switch off, and Newcastle done exactly that just then. Thiel's lost Ekitike, and he's sniffing for his hat-trick at present.
Well, Ekitike and Anthony Gordon, the goal scorers on the night, will both want to be going to the World Cup, or both want to be able to win the World Cup, and if they want to know how to do it, then maybe they can download TalkSport's new podcast. Jacob Hawley and Matt Ford talk all things goalkeepers with the former USA goalkeeper Brad Friedel on this, the latest episode of How to Win the World Cup, which has also got some great episodes involving Kleberson and Emmanuel Petit. Friedel giving brilliant insight into saving penalties, as Nick Pope did in midweek. Actually, he tells a very funny story about hair transplants in Turkey too, which is well worth a listen. That's How to Win the World Cup, live now on the YouTube channel and available on all podcast platforms. There was a bit of a late tackle here from Anthony Elanga. Was it Jacob Ramsey who was guilty of chasing down this near side and committing a rather robust challenge on Kerkez, which gives a free kick to Liverpool and generates a yellow card for Jacob Ramsey. 2-1 to Liverpool.
Yeah, caught Kerkez late there. He's still down on his haunches. He felt that one. I mean, what a game we've had. Absolutely superb.
That was outstanding, isn't it, when you think about the way it just swung from one end to the other in 10 minutes after the half-hour mark is ridiculous, really. If you think we had not much in terms of goal mouth action for the first half an hour, then we had 3 goals in the space of 7 minutes.
Yeah, and throw into the fact a free kick slamming the inside of the post.
Kerkez is still on his haunches and not quite ready to get back to his feet. Eventually Szoboszlai does. We've got 5 minutes of added time, by the way, and we're into the third of those. And there's going to be a free kick on this near side, just a couple of yards in from the near touchline. It'll be taken by Dominik Szoboszlai. And Liverpool lead by 2 goals to 1. 49 minutes into the game, after succumbing to the first goal from Anthony Gordon. They've got themselves full of confidence now as it's sent in by Szoboszlai towards the near post. It's flicked on towards the back post by McAllister, and it goes over the top of the crossbar and out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side.
Yes, great ball there by Szoboszlai. Just curled it in, just fading with power a little bit, and McAllister's just flicked it on brilliantly. Just got too much on it though.
Well, Florian Wirtz has provided a little bit of sparkle, but the stardust has been sprinkled by Hugo Ekitike. Responding after a brilliant start from Newcastle United, Liverpool have dragged themselves back into the game and then gone in front. It's 2-1 to Liverpool under the lights at Anfield as Pope kicks it long and clear through the middle of the pitch, headed away by Gravenberg and then won by Tonali. It's bounced kindly for Milos Kerkez, who's looking to play a diagonal from the halfway out to the right hand side. Hall is chasing, doesn't quite get there, it goes out of play and it's away for a throw in to Newcastle. It's Liverpool 2, Newcastle United 1, and it has been a breathless game. Eddie Howe absolutely perplexed down in front of us, just scratching his brow and walking around talking to Jason Tindall with his hands behind his back, knowing that the game started so well for his team.
Yeah, what I would say is I think he's got his team selection at the front of the team correct. You know, Gordon playing down the middle was, for me, probably been the best player on the pitch in my opinion in his first half.
Alisson has it on the edge of the 18-yard box. He kicks it long and high, and it's into the Newcastle half. The slip by Trippier, that allows Gakpo to wander down the left. It's collected by Ekitike, who turns under pressure, feeds it back into McAllister. He plays it square, and it's collected now by Konate, who thunders the ball into the chest of Mo Salah, who just about dealt with it. That's the end of the first half. And what a first half it has been. Newcastle United went ahead, but they have dropped 47 points from winning positions against Liverpool in the Premier League era, and they're in danger of dropping 3 more tonight. Anthony Gordon put them in front after 36 minutes, and at that point it was nothing more than they had deserved. It was his first goal from open play in the Premier League for over a year, but the man that they wanted to sign in the summer, Hugo Ekitike, stepped up and took charge for Liverpool. 2 very good finishes have made it Liverpool 2, Newcastle 1 at the break. Well, I wonder actually whether or not Jermaine Pennant will be asking a question about this and whether this matters to Liverpool supporters. 0 English players in Liverpool's starting 11 tonight. I know that it will upset Stuart a little bit. 8 in Newcastle's. It's the biggest difference in English players in opposing starting 11s in any Premier League match involving Liverpool. Michael Reid on X has tweeted that tonight. And it is a bit of a surprise, isn't it, that Liverpool have no English players in their starting lineup. Curtis Jones is on the bench tonight.
It certainly is. As I say, you know, the Premier League now is an international league, we know that, but for Liverpool, I always have my England hat on, and you want some of the top players playing in a Liverpool shirt, that's for sure.
Well, we're underway at the start of the second half, and Newcastle have not won at Anfield in any of their last 29 meetings in all competitions. The last Premier League win here was April 1994. Here's Anthony Elanga trying to get them back on level terms. He runs down the right hand side. The black and white jerseys are shooting towards the Anfield Road end in the second half. It's all red for Liverpool, shooting from left to right in the second 45, and no changes at half time from either of the two teams. We've played 40 seconds of it. I'll go through the 11s in just a second, but Liverpool have the ball on halfway, and it's with Dan Burn down the left into Barnes, and then on to Hall, and then on to Willock. Good football from Newcastle United. Willock back in field now, 10 yards short of the 18-yard box, finds Tonali. Tonali square to Trippier. Trippier finds Ramsey, who's just dropped off McAllister, who's trying to shuffle towards him, didn't quite reach him. The ball goes out wide to Elanga, who plays it against Kirkes, or thought he did, and then goes to ground for some reason unexplained and loses the ball, and the decision doesn't go in his favour either.
Yeah, trying to buy a foul there, I think. You know, there was contact with Kirkes, but not enough for a free kick, and it's a wasted opportunity. Well,
Liverpool lead by 2-1. Ekitike with 2 goals on the stroke of half-time. And they have Alisson in goal, Szoboszlai at right back, Konate, Van Dijk and Kirkes are the back four. Gravenberch and McAllister in midfield, with Salah, Wirtz and Gakpo behind Ekitike, who scored twice in attack. What about Newcastle United? Well, they have Pope in goal, Trippier, Chow, Burn and Hall, then Ramsey, Tonali and Willock, and then Elanga and Barnes either side of Anthony Gordon, who played really well in that first 45 minutes and scored his first goal from open play in the Premier League in over a year. It is 2-1 to Liverpool. Alisson kicks out to the far side. It's a poor kick out by him, and it goes straight out of play by the halfway line. It's a Newcastle throw on halfway, which Trippier takes. Ramsey, under pressure from McAllister, is chased back into his own half. He turns as he reaches the centre circle, lays it off to the left, and Burn finds Willock, who's fouled by Gravenberch. Free kick away to our right. I mentioned the last Premier League win here for Newcastle, April 1994. It was the year that Manchester United won the double. The Queen opened the Channel Tunnel. Salt and Pepper and En Vogue were in the charts with What a Man. You remember that one?
Oh, what a song.
Tony DeBart, The Real Thing. Is that up for you?
Keep going.
Bruce Springsteen, Streets of Philadelphia.
94.
Yeah, boom. Prince was one of the biggest sellers with The Most Beautiful Girl in the World.
I've just watched Philadelphia over the last 2 months for the first time. I never saw it first time round.
There you go. It's
fantastic.
A great story and a great soundtrack. Here is Willock approaching the edge of the penalty area, trying to exchange passes with Barnes. Gravenberch wanders into a bit of a cul-de-sac and then eventually clears from inside the 18-yard box and up over halfway. Trippier with a header, but it's a poor one, and it's picked off by Ekitike, who nudged it to the right. It's collected now and given to Gakpo, who finds Salah. It comes back to Szoboszlai, whose strike is firm and hard, but nowhere near either corner, and it's an easy smother for Nick Pope in the goal away to our right.
It was. I think when you see the replay again, it's took a deflection but balled it back towards Pope rather than away from him, I think, which certainly helped Newcastle on that occasion.
And one by Kirkes, far side the left. It's played infield to Ekitike. And Liverpool looking to start the second half as strongly as they finished the first. Well, they couldn't have finished it any worse than they started it, because they were on the back foot for half an hour. But they've given the ball away here. Salah again, sloppy in possession, and Hall has released Gordon, who's trying to take on Konate, but he has timed his intervention perfectly and nabbed it off. And then Salah again has miscontrolled and taken the ball out of play. He does look like a player that is struggling a little bit for confidence, Mo Salah, and you would never ever think that.
No, as I say, the one thing he does keep going. I'll give him that. But the bottom line is, you know, you almost feel sorry for him. He's that poor on occasion, considering the standards he's hit.
Tonali out wide to the right, into Trippier, and then a bit of a brush off the ball for Barnes from Canate, but they've won it back through Hall again, who's got up above Mo Salah, who's having a real difficulty. And here is Gordon, poor ball, but Willock has won it and got into the penalty area. He should have nudged it onto Barnes. Instead he went down the left, run into Gravenberch, who managed to clear it upfield. Now Ekitike is in a foot race with Byrne. He's beaten Byrne, he's escaped into the area, and he's missed the target with his finish. What a chance to get a Liverpool hat-trick for Ugo Ekitike. He went racing away from Byrne like he went past Medina in the game against Karabag in midweek, but this time he couldn't find the bottom corner. He steered it well wide of goal.
Well, I've got to say, Ekitike puts the fear of God in this Newcastle back line. He is the one that is playing with confidence and arrogance in their front line, and as I say, when Byrne was floundering, when he went through, you thought this could be the easiest chance of the game he's had so far.
What an opportunity that was for Liverpool to take a 3-1 lead in the game. Ball clipped over the top for Barnes to career onto. Alisson comes out to the edge of his penalty area. He'll gobble this one up. I was going to ask you the number one song of the day back in April 14th, 1994, when they last won here in Newcastle in the Premier League. Do you know what it was? Very famous at the time, very famous group, and it was the title track of their second album. And I've said group quite deliberately, because I don't think it would qualify by your criteria as a band.
I see. Is this would it be a take that?
Oh, it might be. Willock sends the ball down the left, looking for Anthony Gordon, who gallops into the left channel. Van Dijk cuts across and puts it out for a corner on this near side.
So we're looking for a Take That song, aren't we?
Yeah.
And album.
Remember, things alter quite a lot, all the time.
Something changes.
Everything changes, yes, well done. You almost
apart from my wardrobe.
You almost got all the clues. Here's the corner to be taken by Trippier. It's right in towards the far post. Byrne keeps it alive. It comes off the back of a defender and runs loose inside the 6-yard box. And then it's recovered by Elanga on the far side. In towards the near post. Oh, it's scooted all the way through the box. Trippier back in towards Chow. It's headed clear by Liverpool, but they can't get it away. And Chow's at the near post. The goalkeeper's come out. He's clattered into him. Did he get enough on the ball there, Alisson?
Well, the ball just kept coming back in time and time again, and Liverpool were equal to it eventually.
Ball sent long by Trippier, out towards the near side, and up goes Canate wrestling with Byrne. Liverpool 2, Newcastle 1 on TalkSport with Sky Sports, and don't forget that with now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly by Manchester United versus Fulham live tomorrow. Search now Sports.
They dealt with that, Liverpool. As I say, that barrage, it kept coming in from left to right, but they dealt with all of them.
Tackled by Byrne through the back of Mo Salah. The free kick is given against Dan Byrne, and Simon Hooper declines to give anything more than that. Dan Byrne, who's only just coming back from broken ribs and a punctured lung that he picked up in the game with Sunderland.
Well, what would you expect any less from the Newcastle-Sunderland game, you know? Incredible. He is an old-school warrior, Dan Byrne. There's no doubt about that.
He really is. Ball has been sent long up towards the halfway line by Liverpool, but it's going to be dealt with by Trippier, who's going to nod that back from the left, from the right side of the penalty area, the Liverpool left, into the arms of Nick Pope, the goalkeeper. Everything does change, and both Liverpool and Newcastle will be aware of that. That is for sure. This game has changed around on its head in the space of just a few minutes, and Liverpool now on the attack again. Ball played up by Gravenberch towards Ekitike, cut out by McAllister as Newcastle attempt to clear. Wonder if Anthony Gordon sort of run himself into the ground in that first half and is just suffering now from a little bit of fatigue as the ball has been picked up by Ryan Gravenberch, just short of the penalty area, out wide to the left, and Gakpo, who now attacks Trippier, cuts in on his right foot, runs along the 18-yard line, unleashes a shot which is wide of goal, dragged about a yard wide of the foot of the post, and it goes out for a goal kick away to our right-hand side.
Yeah, Newcastle have got to sustain that energy if they're going to get back into this game at all. As I To say the energy that they showed in the first half, spinning in behind, the creation they showed. Liverpool will be hoping that Newcastle come on, spread, and they can pick them off.
Well, one of the big criticisms that has lingered around Liverpool this season is the quality that has been described as dull and boring at times. I don't think this game will be described as dull and boring. I think maybe their first 30 minutes might be described a little bit like that by some of the supporters, but certainly not what's happened subsequently. It's been a proper battle, and Gordon has just won his duel with Gravenberch and then played it into Barnes. Barnes now attacking Van Dijk, plays it down the left for Elanga, needs some support in the centre, should have squared it really, didn't do so. It goes for an offside on this near side. I wonder whether that might be the case when the ball was played initially to Barnes anyway. Is a free kick to Liverpool, but I wonder whether or not it was tight enough that would have been offside. I don't think he was offside actually at all. Maybe Elanga was the second time around, yes. Yeah, he went a little bit too early, but he didn't choose the right ball anyway, Elanga.
No, as I say, it was a fantastic decision once again. When you see a replay on some of these offsides, it astounds me how good the officials are at getting them right.
Yeah. Here is Akatike, picked up by Gakpo, who's trying to run through the middle. He claims it is being pulled back by Malik Diao, who now has been penalised. Yellow card for Malik Diao.
Yeah, Liverpool just edging their way back into this game slowly but surely, aren't they? You know, they'll be looking for the third goal, I'm sure, and if they do get it, then Newcastle have got an uphill struggle.
Well, goals have been at a premium for Liverpool really, and since beating Bournemouth 4-2 on the opening weekend, Liverpool haven't scored more than twice in any of their last 10 Premier League home games. They're averaging just 1.5 per game at Anfield this term, which is their lowest in a campaign since 2011-2012. They already have 2, so what happens next? That's the big question. The goals have also been tricky for Newcastle away from St James's Park. Only Sunderland and Wolves have failed to score in more Premier League away games. They have scored today, but 70% of Newcastle's away goals this season did come in 2 wins on the road at Everton and Burnley. Free kick to Liverpool then, which is 10 yards short of the penalty area, and Dominic Szoboszlai is standing over it. And he hits it towards the back post where Van Dijk has made a run. He heads it back across the face of goal, and it's caught by Pope. And Newcastle want to get it moving quickly because Van Dijk is out of position, and Anthony Gordon's got it in the left full-back position, trying to get out in this near side. He can't do so. Gravenberch makes the challenge. It goes Newcastle's way, the throw-in down in front of us, and we're high up at the main stand, just left of centre.
Really good play there by Gravenberch. He was fronted up by Gordon, who's desperate to get past him, but done really well for his team.
Here is Ramsey being harassed by Akatike, too much so according to Simon Hooper, and it is going to be a free kick away to our right hand side. If you're Eddie Howe, when do you start thinking about freshening up the front line? Do you think about maybe bringing on Wissa and maybe switching Barnes to the right? Elanga hasn't really delivered. Gordon can come out to the left, and
I wouldn't move Gordon from the middle, so I wouldn't be putting Valtemauder on and moving Gordon at all, because I think he is the one player in the Newcastle front line that's been most effective, albeit this second half he's waned slightly.
Here's Tonali getting the wrong side of the midfield, but he was escaping with the ball, but a yellow card came out for McAllister for an earlier challenge. The referee did not play the advantage. That frustrated Tonali a little bit, but they do have a free kick.
Yeah, as I say, you've got to make changes for the right reasons, and the reasons being improving what you've got in front of you. I'm not sure that taking Gordon away from that centre-forward berth would improve Newcastle's attacking threat.
I just wonder whether Wissa might be the answer to that problem. Maybe, and maybe not. Maybe it might be that they decide to bring on Jacob Murphy, who's back after a brief hamstring injury, over on that right-hand side instead of Elanga. He certainly...
Yeah. He would be the one probably out the front three that you would look to change and freshen up.
Here is the free kick just in front of the centre circle for Newcastle United. It's floated in by Trippier to the far post, down towards Barnes, who strikes it. It's saved brilliantly by Alisson down to his left. A super stop by the goalkeeper. The offside flag, I think, would have probably denied Newcastle anyway, but that was some hit from Barnes, and it was a brilliant reflex save down to his left by Alisson.
Well, you're absolutely right there. Both components were absolutely brilliant, but Diao just caught offside. He shouldn't have been on the free kick. He was the one who kept it alive. But what a strike on the half volley by Barnes, and a better save by Alisson.
Barnes has been so effective, hasn't he, so far this season? 8 of his 12 goals have come since November. And he's been a real thorn in the side of opposition's defences. And he caused a problem there for Alisson, and Liverpool have caused a problem here. They've turned the ball over on halfway Newcastle United, and it's step over by Anthony Gordon. Well, he shouldn't have done that really, because Gravenberch was behind him and he's won the ball and now turned defence into attack, and Gakpo trying to steal away from Thiaw. Good challenge. And now Newcastle have got it back again with Jacob Ramsey just short of the halfway line. And when these games sort of burst into life, it does go from end to end very quickly because of the pace in the Newcastle side, and they've come forward again with Barnes and then on to Hall, who was just nudged in the back there at the right time by Szoboszlai before he got his crossing.
Clever play, if you can call pushing someone in the back clever. Szoboszlai just waited for Hall to pull his foot back to cross it, and he'd give him a nudge just enough to put him off.
It's a bit chaotic now, the game loosening up, and Salah now trying to take advantage down the right, feeds Wirtz, who gets to the byline, away from Tonali, runs back into the area, allows the room for Hall to come in and pinch the ball. It goes back to Hall from Tonali, and he sends it long, and there's no chance that Anthony Gordon's going to beat Ibrahima Konate in the air, and Konate then weaves his way past Anthony Gordon, and they like that here. 2-1 to Liverpool, 61 minutes gone on TalkSport, under the lights at Anfield on a chilly but not too cold night here in the northwest. Szoboszlai picks it up just right of the centre circle. Alisson has made a really good save in this second half, and remember in the first half, before Liverpool scored, before Newcastle scored, they hit the woodwork, the visitors, and that was the 14th time this season in the Premier League alone that Newcastle had hit the frame of the goal. Here is McAllister, wide out to the left. Gakpo takes it on, tries to go on the outside of Trippier, gets to the byline, but Trippier stops him in his tracks and nudges the ball clear. And then there's a foul by Kirkes on Alanga, but the referee's not going to give it, says continue. Back to Ekitike, edge of the area, trying to get room for the shot. Lays it off instead to McAllister, back out to Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai onto Salah. Salah trying to take on Lewis Hall. He runs into a cul-de-sac and gives the ball away, and now they look to try and break here, but again there's not much in front of Ramsey, and then Szoboszlai does brilliantly just to get his body between ball and man. Willock run out of legs, it's all the way back to Alisson, and now Liverpool having their moment.
Got to say, Szoboszlai knows the game, don't he? He's an intelligent footballer, playing potentially out of position, but he quite understands the tricks of the trade, it's fair to say.
Well, he's done great again, hasn't he? He's been so good for them this season, Dominic Szoboszlai, and the statistics back that up as well.
Yeah, he's probably been their best player, I would say, consistent level.
Yeah, he's playing it right back tonight. He's got 3 goals in his last 8 games. 8 for the season. He got that cheeky little free kick against Marseille 10 days ago, which was a headline maker, but he also played a role in a free kick goal that they scored here in midweek that Salah slammed in, a little back heel from Szoboszlai to set it back to Salah, and he found the corner of the net. 2-1 to Liverpool on TalkSport here. We're deep inside the Newcastle half of the field with the Newcastle right back Kieran Trippier about to take a throw in over on the far side, and things usually change when these two meet under the lights, reminiscing about the days of yore, possibly those early Premier League days. The 18 evening kickoffs between Newcastle and Liverpool in the Premier League have produced 64 goals over 3.5 per games, which is in stark comparison to the goals that go in when they play at 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. Not that that happens very often. Here's Hall down the left-hand side, looking to get the better of Konate. Brilliant from him again, just using his body to edge in front of Hall and nudge it away. And now McAllister drives forward. Ekitike with a really heavy touch back towards Kirkes, and he's forced him into the left full-back position, and a back pass to Alisson, who spoons the ball forward. Trippier tries to win it. It comes through to McAllister, and the space that Trippier has left is now occupied by Cody Gakpo, who accelerates into the penalty area. He goes down the left, he pulls it back into the box, it's headed away by Hall and steered out to the far side. Gakpo's got it again. He takes the ball on past the defender Trippier, sets it back for McAllister. McAllister now trying to find Gravenberch with a shot from the edge of the area, which doesn't test the goalkeeper and goes into the top.
I'm just going to ask you a question here. if you're a Liverpool manager, what would you be doing with Salah? Because he hasn't played well again tonight, has he? And not just pull it, you've just gestured to bring him off, but not just this evening, but he's an outlet to him. He's had a hell of a lot of the ball, but he's not delivered absolutely anything. He don't look like the confidence to go past Lewis Hall.
No. I probably would be making an alteration. Rio Ngamoa may well be the outlet that I would choose as well. It just hasn't worked for him so far, Mo Salah, in the game, has it? And I actually think that probably we're seeing the last of Mo Salah in a Liverpool shirt. I wouldn't be surprised if he left in the summer. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised. Here is Gordon down the near touchline, playing it against Wirtz and winning a throw-in on this near side. No, the throw-in's gone the other way.
Yeah, that was definitely Gordon trying to con the referee a little bit there. Definitely a Liverpool throw-in.
Well, Gordon was pleading with Simon Hooper. Big long ball by Van Dijk up towards Cody Gakpo, and excellent defending from Malik Chow. And it's all the way back to goalkeeper Nick Pope. And we've got only 25 minutes left of this game, a game which was brilliant in the first half. It's been a bit cagier in the second half in terms of both teams going at it, but there's been certainly a lot of opportunities and a lot of physicality and pace about the match. And Barnes has it down in the left corner now, wrestling with Szoboszlai. Barnes going to take on the Hungarian. A right-footed cross into the box. It's actually not a bad delivery, that. Maybe just the last bit curled a little bit too quickly into the goalkeeper's arms. And Anthony Gordon was never really going to get on the end of it. And it's cleared away by Alisson. And he has cleared it to Nick Pope, which is very nice of him to return the ball back to Nick Pope. Just straight down the middle of the pitch into his opposite number.
Yeah, just trying to pick Salah out there on one of those quick counter-attacks. It's interesting, we've still got plenty of time in this game.
Plenty of time for a Newcastle equaliser or an Ekitike hat-trick. Here's Florian Wirtz at the edge of the penalty area, looking for Salah. Salah pokes it back to Wirtz. Oh, it's a lovely finish. Brilliant from Florian Wirtz into the corner. It's so delicately placed in off the post to give Liverpool a 3-1 lead. Set up by Salah, finished by Florian Wirtz. And a wonderful Liverpool move ends in yet another goal, and Newcastle look forlorn because that could be the clincher.
Yeah, it's been the story of Newcastle's travels this season a little bit. Played okay for us, certainly long spells of the first half, but they've conceded 3 goals here, and Liverpool just overloaded and went 4 on 4 near enough. And then Salah got in the box, you're thinking he's going to drop a shoulder. He's drawn players to him, set one back brilliantly, I've got to say, and Wirtz guided it into the far corner.
67 minutes on the clock, and Liverpool are at it at Anfield, and Newcastle are on the back foot on their travels again.
Yeah, and you asked me a question, would I make changes now if I was Newcastle? The answer is yes. I think that has to happen to try and inspire a fight back in this game. As you say, there's a lot of heads have dropped in the Newcastle ranks. I think playing so well in the first half and coming off behind in the game has hurt them.
Well, it's brilliant from Florian Wirtz, and it's a continuation of some really good form, because that is his 6th goal in his last 10 games, and bearing in mind the sticky start that he had at Anfield, that is some return. Florian Wirtz for Liverpool, and Liverpool lead by 3 goals to 1, and it's Ekitike and Wirtz that have made the difference tonight. Here's Anthony Gordon. He's got Anthony Elanga running through the centre, but he chose Barnes instead. Barnes down the left looking to take on Szoboszlai. Infield to Willock. Willock trying to make some room, or he just runs into a cul-de-sac again as a group of players, and he's hurt himself here. Joe Willock, and now they're on the break with Salah. Salah running down the right. He's got away from Hall. He tries to poke it in with his left foot. When he needed to go across the goalkeeper, he went to the near post and straight into the side netting. And as he escaped away past Lewis Hall, he should have wrapped his right foot around it. He wasn't confident enough to do so, and with his left foot he poked the ball goalwards towards the near post and missed the target.
Yeah, as I say, he's got away. He's running at such pace though he couldn't slow himself down. I think what he's attempting to do is toe poke it into that far corner, and just couldn't get his body and his toe around it.
Well, what an opportunity to make it 4-1. Ball sent long down the right, looking for the run of Elanga. Elanga into the right wing position, trying to turn away. He's got support on the outside. It's Kieran Trippier once again. I'm so pleased for Florian Wirtz. We talked him up so much in the summer, and after seeing him so much for Germany and for Bayer Leverkusen, it took him a little while just to get connections with his teammates as Anthony Gordon runs into an offside position. But he's, even in those moments where it wasn't quite working for him, there were signs that he was creating opportunities that others maybe at times weren't taking. Actually, Salah is one of those who was guilty of that. I remember a brilliant little flick down at Chelsea where he set up Salah and Salah didn't take the chance. And it took him a long time to post the numbers that we expected him to, but boy is he posting the numbers now.
Yeah, he is, and as I say, the only criticism I would have had of him in the first half, the fact he's trying to play teammates in instead of taking chances themselves, but he certainly answered that in the second half with that finish.
Newcastle turn the ball over on the halfway line. They're about to make a triple change here. Barnes trying to get them on the front foot before that happens. Willock, who looks to have hurt himself, is still bounding forward. Barnes goes into the box, tries to take on Szoboszlai. With all due respect, I'm not sure that was the wisest of choices, bearing in mind Szoboszlai appears to have his number so far.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's a better defender than people are giving him credit for. We talk about, him playing out of position and playing right back, that type of thing, but he's done defensive duties not bad. They've been exposed on this flank, but I think that's just down to the player playing outside him, not tracking back.
They've got to get Willock off. He's not 100% here. They're going to make that change soon. I just wonder what exactly they are going to do, because they're going to bring on 3 forward players here. Here is Kerkez into Van Dijk, and then back onto McAllister. And now it's Szoboszlai. 72 minutes gone. Salah into Ekitike. Willock picks it up, plays it back in field, and then gets it again. He runs away from Ekitike, who was being held up. That's going to be a free kick, and now the changes are going to take place. And we've got Johan Visser coming on. And Nick Voltemade, he's coming off the bench. And so is Jacob Murphy, and that's a welcome return for Jacob Murphy, because I must admit, when I saw him limp off in the game against Manchester City in the Carabao Cup, I was fearful a little bit. So off comes Barnes, off comes Gordon, off comes Willock. And that is the change. So the only one who remains is Anthony Elanga, interestingly. Oh no, Elanga is coming off. Gordon is staying on, I think, after all that. I think initially they did put the wrong number up there, which was the problem. But Gordon stays on. And Elanga is the one that comes off with Barnes and Willock, and Murphy, Wisser and Voltemade all come on. So it looks as if that means that Murphy will go right side, Wisser will play as the 9, Voltemade as the 10, and you'll have Gordon on the left-hand side. It's a more aggressive and assertive formation than the 4-3-3 that we've had up until this point for Newcastle United. 17 to go. Happy with those changes?
Well, it's certainly a throw of the dice, that is for sure. So it'd almost be a 4-2-4 formation, give or take.
Good crossing by Murphy, headed away by Canate. Murphy forces himself in front of Gakpo, cleared away by Van Dijk, out for a throw-in over on the far side. Liverpool lead by 3-1 on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. Allay goes around Anfield. The noise levels go up, and remember there'll be a lot of noise on transfer deadline day. The window shuts at 7 p.m. Alex Crook and Jim White will be on air right the way through it. 6:30. Danny Murphy will also be involved in that programme as well. That's Monday evening from 6:30. Here's Gakpo down the left into the penalty area for Liverpool, cutting it back to Florian Wirtz, edge of the area. He takes a drag back and then gets it a little bit wrong actually, and hands off Sandro Tonali, and the free kick is given away to our right hand side.
Yeah, Newcastle, because of the formation now, leaving themselves vulnerable on the counter-attack.
Well, I think Eddie Howe said one of the reasons that it's taken a little while for his new players that were recruited in the summer to settle into his system is because they haven't really had much time on the training ground. They had no time on the training ground after flying back from Paris on Thursday. A light recovery session, a little bit of time and a video analysis yesterday, and then we had to make the trip over to Liverpool before this game. And they're still involved in 4 competitions, so the games are coming thick and fast. And you said that is the price of success, really. The issue is that during the summer, when they were trying to gel the squad and glue the squad, there was disruption because of Alexander Isak's transfer, and then obviously they didn't sign Wissa until deadline day, and he got injured almost immediately that he turned up. So it has been a bit difficult for them to find their feet, but they are still involved in all 4 competitions. Here is Gravenberch running towards the edge of the area, poking it wide for Salah, who's going to keep it in down by the corner flag, but it's too far wide for him to continue the momentum of the attack. He turns it back into Gravenberch, and now it's on the right for Szoboszlai, whose cross is a really good one, but Trippier's header is pretty decent too, and now Wissa is trying to find an escape route, but he can't do so because Konate is blocking all routes out of Liverpool.
Yeah, Konate's done well in the second half, stopping attacks. First half wasn't so sure.
Hearts 2-0 up away at Dundee United at the top of the Scottish Premiership, and they're going to extend their lead to 7 points. Dundee United have had 2 players sent off, by the way, in that game. But Hearts were 2-0 up before any of that happened, actually, I think. Here is Szoboszlai on halfway for Liverpool, who lead by 3 goals to 1 with 15 minutes to go on TalkSport. Back in field it goes to Szoboszlai, onto Ekitike. Ekitike down the right, tries to take on Gordon, goes it back to Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai ready to try and nudge it infield. Newcastle backed off into a very deep block, 14 minutes to go. McAllister all given away by McAllister. Murphy looking for a way forward, but he doesn't get his pass right, and if Newcastle are going to get anything from this game, they're going to have to make sure that when they do have possession they escape properly. Here's Ekitike into the box, cut out by Ramsey, and now he looks to lead the drive upfield. Voltemada just short of the halfway line, tackled by McAllister brilliantly. Wiertz onto Salah, well spotted by Hall, nudged back by Ramsey, who got there with his head, and then Pope bowls it out to the far side. Lots of speed and tempo to the game now as we go into the final 14 minutes with Newcastle chasing, trying to find a way back in.
For the sake of the game, Newcastle need to find a goal. I think at the moment Liverpool quite reasonably content within the game, not feeling under any form of pressure.
Here comes Gordon down the left. Wissa wants it played down the left hand side, but Barnes is Hall is on the inside left channel, and he gets the ball to Gordon, then gets it back again, then produces a cross which is steered away by Konate, and it's out for a throw-in. I felt that cross was always going to be a hopeful one rather than an accurate one from Lewis Hall.
Yeah, when he's got into that area, the best cross he could have delivered probably would have been a little stand-up to the far post. He didn't do that, and Konate got his position right.
That's probably best. I mean, he's not, and he will tell you this himself, he's not the best header of the ball, but he is likely to be the one who's most likely to get hold of it, Voltemada, if you steer it up to him. Here's Gordon, edge of the area, trying to get a shot away as the ball breaks to him nicely. He does that, and it's narrowly wide of the right hand upright and out for a goal kick away to our left. It's currently Liverpool 3, Newcastle 1. Here are the latest odds from Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can back Liverpool to win at 100 to 1 on. The draw is 33 to 1, Newcastle to win 150 to 1. That's all thanks to Betfair, playing a different league this season with Safe Sub from Betfair. 18 plus, begambleaware.org. And Nick Voltemada, 6'6" tall, not quite as tall as Dan Burn, who's 6'7", but there is a rival for that tallest Premier League outfield player tag now, because Lorenzo Luca of Nottingham Forest is 6'7", so you have to get Burn and Luca back to back to see who is the tallest. And I'll tell you that he's got quite an interesting nickname, Lorenzo Luca at Nottingham Forest, Stuart.
Tiny?
Pizza Crouch, because he's Italian. Here is Voltemada, out to the left. Hall with a cross into the near post. Again, Konate is there, and he steers the ball out on this near side and away for a throw-in.
Yeah, once again, Hall's just got to get a bit more elevation on that cross. You either whip it behind the back line, or you just take out those central defenders that are filling the middle of the goal.
Gordon back to Hall from the throw-in on the left-hand side as Newcastle come on the attack. Bit of space here for Tonali. He's winding up for a shot which takes a deflection into the air. That's going to go over the top, and it's out for another Newcastle United corner. The score's Liverpool 3, Newcastle United 1 on TalkSport. And when we're done here, by the way, Adam Catterall and Jermaine Pennant will bring you the sports bar. We'll get some live reaction from Arne Slot and Eddie Howe as well right after the full-time whistle. 03717 223344 is the number to call. You can book your calls in now. You can text them as well. It's 81089, and you can WhatsApp them on the big 03717 number.
Look at McAllister and Slobosly just facing the opposite way.
The ball's towards the far post from the corner. Trippier tried to steer it into the far post, and Alisson just misread the flight of the ball initially, then backpedaled and grabbed it before it went over his head. Sorry, Stuart.
I'm just saying it's amazing. You've got Slobosly and McAllister facing directly the opposite way that where the ball's being delivered from, and it's everything that you were coached as a kid. See your man, see the ball. You know what I mean? It goes against that totally.
And is that by design, or is it because they're
there as blockers, really, rather than they've got no interest in the ball whatsoever?
Yeah. And that's just the way that it's changed over time.
Indeed.
Burn with the header into the air. Ramsey heads it on. Down by Gordon. Gordon just tries to run away from Gravenberch and get it back to Nick Pope. Pope sends it forward up towards the halfway line. Canate with a header. It'll drop in midfield. Tonali will win it. I don't think it did hit his hand despite the accusations of the Anfield crowd. Burn has it. Out to the far side now, Malik Chiao. 3-1 to Liverpool on TalkSport. Looking to win back-to-back games here at Anfield after a sticky result down at the Vitality Stadium. For all the criticisms actually that have lingered around, it is worth pointing out that the defeat down at Bournemouth was their first in 14 games. Yes, they hadn't won many in the Premier League during that period. They'd drawn quite a few. Here is Gordon accelerating down the left. He feeds the ball into Wissa. Wissa plays it against Szoboszlai. Goes out for a corner. And set pieces might be the route back into the game, Stuart. Only Bournemouth have conceded more Premier League goals from set pieces than Liverpool, and this one's been taken short. Hall into the penalty area, away by Ekitike.
Yeah, he's got that near post area again. He's got to avoid that. He really has.
Hall picking it up from Salah, trying to turn, and there was a head injury there inside the box. Ekitike going down, and that just stalls the play. Newcastle did have it on this near side, the left, and they were about to launch another attack, so they will get, I think, an uncontested drop ball on this near side. There is just a little bit of reconfiguring going on. Curtis Jones is about to come on. Ill in midweek, didn't make the squad for the game against Karabag. And a few rumours swirling about his future over the course of the last 48 hours or more.
Yeah, as I say, he's one of those players that's probably not played as regularly as he would have liked, consistently as he would have liked.
Inter Milan have been linked. Ekitike still down. You do hope that that injury is nothing more than just a quick bang to the head, because losing him with Alexander Isak unavailable would be unwelcome, let's put it that way. On comes Chiesa and Jones. What's going on here? Ekitike giving a bit to the Newcastle crowd, the Newcastle crowd giving it back, and now Ekitike turning round to the Anfield crowd and raising the volume inside the stadium.
Yeah, he's just made the Newcastle fans aware of what the score was, I think.
Well, the scoreboard's not very big here, is it? So maybe he felt as if he needed to communicate it a little bit better.
Well, fortunately, there wasn't a 2 in the scoreline, you know.
Yes, we wouldn't want him to do the peace sign, would we?
Indeed.
Absolutely.
All for those old enough to remember the Harvey Smith sign.
Yes. Off comes Ekitike, on comes Chiesa, on comes Jones for Salah in the final few minutes of the game. Well, I think he's endeared himself to the Anfield crowd. It's only the second time that he's got 2 goals in a game for them, and he's certainly got them well on the way to winning this one. But Newcastle will have an uncontested drop ball midway inside the Liverpool half, wide on the left. Federico Chiesa has been told just to shuffle backwards because he's too close to Lewis Hall. He wants to get it out. We should have just got it out over the far side to Murphy where there was space. Now Tonali's going to quarterback the ball into the box, looking for Dan Burn. Comes back to Voltemada, who manages to do a neat turn. Well, the idea was a neat turn, but his touch was too heavy and it took it away and into the path of Konate. So Boschlei clears from the right fullback position. It's straight into the arms of Nick Pope. And there's now just 6 minutes to go. And Newcastle want to race forward with the ball, but getting back in this game is going to be a difficulty. We did see late drama when these two met at St James's Park. Ball steered in towards the near post, it's cleared away. Newcastle have made a change as well. They snuck on Will Asula in the last few minutes, and he has come off the bench for Kieran Trippier. So again, another assertive change because Murphy has gone to right back as a result. Ball is deep inside the Liverpool half. It's played over towards the far side where Jones has it now. Kirkes back to Van Dijk. The noise ramped up inside Anfield. And Newcastle United, who after this game, by the way, go to Manchester City in the League Cup with a deficit in the semi-final. That's live on TalkSport in midweek. Lewis Hall fighting for the ball with Curtis Jones. He was accused of handball initially. The referee said nothing doing. Then Dan Burn is arguing about the decision, and Lewis Hall is being told off by Simon Hooper, and Dan Burn has been booked.
Yeah, as I say, it was a challenge that Liverpool thought they had a foul, then Newcastle did, then a little bit of afters. Liverpool will be delighted now. They just need to take the sting out of the game. It's a possession game for them at this moment in time and keep Newcastle away from their goal.
Well, they know, and we know, and Newcastle know, that they conceded a 90th minute goal against them for the third time this season in the Premier League down at Bournemouth last weekend. It's the most ever in a single campaign in the competition for Liverpool, and in fact no side has scored more goals in the last 15 minutes of Premier League games than Liverpool as well. So there still might be some drama late on here. Florian Wirtz, ear-splitting reception as he comes off, and a standing ovation for what has been a terrific performance from him. An assist and a goal for Florian Wirtz tonight, and he's replaced by Wataru Endo for the final few minutes of this game.
Yeah, as I say, Liverpool will be very, very pleased, especially after 30 minutes and a goal down, that they managed to turn this game round. 3 valuable points.
3 valuable points in terms of the Premier League table as well, isn't it? You know, it's absolutely vital for them as they try and press forward for a place in the Champions League next season. Here's Burn chasing with Gakpo over on the far side. Well, Burn's just been booked, and the afters that went because the ball went out of play, and did he just dangle a little foot at Gakpo? They're asking for a sending off here. He was sent off at Brentford earlier in the season. The referee has said no yellow card. Chiesa and Kirkes, Kirkes is being restrained by Chiesa over on the far side. Liverpool are going to be given a corner kick here, but nothing more is going to go against Dan Burn.
Yeah, Gakpo's just shepherded it out, and Dan Burn's tried to get a bit of frustration out of the system, I think.
Would you be suggesting that should be a yellow card or not?
No. Well, if he hadn't been booked before, he'd have probably been booked now. Do I think he deserves to be sent off for it for a double yellow? No, I don't.
Lewis Hall is coming off, and Alex Murphy is coming on at left back for the final few seconds of the game. I wonder if that's just protecting Lewis Hall. Remember, Tony Adams is in the studio tomorrow morning with Sean Costas and Henry Winter from 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Make sure you listen to that. He'll be good on defending, won't he? And he'll be pretty impressed with Konate's performance in the second half today, I think.
Yeah, as I say, being coached by Don Howe, he certainly was a top quality defender, Tony.
Away by Dan Burn from the corner on the far side. The whistle goes up with Jones. Jones wins the ball and it's pinched by Murphy. Jones gets it again. Voltemada tries to close him down. Voltemada initially wins it from Konate, but Konate recovers. Liverpool going back up into 5th position in the table, a point behind Chelsea. Manchester United a point below them, play tomorrow against Fulham. And Arne Slot said he wants to win something this season. He said he can only do that if they keep improving in both boxes. Certainly I think they have improved in both boxes tonight. They've created chances and scored their chances this evening. They have conceded one or two opportunities as well, and that might still be something that they need to look into. But it will be Liverpool's first win in 6 Premier League games, and it will be welcome as Gakpo goes down the left-hand side into the box. A heavy cross which is steered behind by Murphy, and he gives away a corner in the 90th minute of the game.
Yeah, they'll be delighted with that. Liverpool just took more sting out the game. Clock ticking by, and the clock is not the friend of Newcastle at present.
Well, it just feels like everything's getting a little bit better for Arne Slot over the last couple of months. He's been under a little bit of pressure, but back-to-back wins and a first win in the Premier League in 6. I think it'll be only one defeat in 16 games now. As Szoboszlai sends the ball in towards the penalty spot, and the volley by Konate hits the defender and goes behind. He looked as if he was going to register a 4th goal.
Well, I think he was pleased with the contact he had there, fancied his chances, just stepped back onto it, and it was Visser that managed to deflect it wide. Good contact by Konate.
I think Visser and then Voltemade. Here is Szoboszlai, seek towards the far post. It's in towards Konate, away by Visser this time. Comes to Endo, slides it out to the right for Szoboszlai to get another cross into the box. He tries to take on Ramsey, a little back heel into the path of Endo. His cross steered away by the head of Byrne, then volleyed back by Van Dijk, who drags it wide. Murphy gives it to Pope. There's 5 minutes of added time at the end of the 90 for Liverpool to see through so that they get a victory here. Newcastle United will stay in the top 10, but their goal difference will be reduced, and they are in danger of being leapfrogged by Sunderland now, who play later in the weekend live on TalkSport 2 on Monday night. That won't go down particularly well if that is the case. It's another away day where they haven't quite got the job done, Newcastle. I mean, Eddie Howe was saying, he thinks that the way they performed in Paris late. Gakpo has been in behind Thiaw. He's managed to go into the box. He tried to steer it back towards Curtis Jones. He's gone round the houses in order to get into an advanced position. He's tried to run into the 6-yard box. He's blocked by Byrne, who knees the ball behind and goes out for a corner.
I really don't know why he didn't shoot when he had the opportunity. He decided against it, then he's tried to pull one back, then he got into an advanced area, and he was just outnumbered eventually.
Just tried to do a little bit too much, didn't he, at every juncture. I was going to say that Eddie Howe said the performance in Paris proved that they could play away from home, and he didn't really see the difference between home and away, and it was about performances. But the statistics tell you that they put more points on the board at St James's Park with regularity. Here is the corner far side, sent in towards Nick Pope, who drops it at the feet of Konate, who angles it back past the goalkeeper and in. It's 4-1 to Liverpool, and a very popular Ibrahima Konate scores. At Anfield, which has been a stadium which has been laced with frustration and pessimism for too long now, might just have a release of joy and enthusiasm tonight. 4 goals for Liverpool, the latest a gift from a Pope, which was the answer for Ibrahim Konate's prayers on a difficult week for him, where he suffered a family tragedy. He comes up with a goal which puts the seal on a brilliant display from Liverpool, especially in this second half. Emotionally, he has to wipe tears from his eyes. He knows that is a huge moment. It's a goal that means so much after a performance which has been superb. A special moment for Ibrahima Konate. Emotional but clinical, and with a little bit of a helping hand. It's Liverpool 4, Newcastle 1.
Yeah, Pope's come out, he's trying to catch the ball, he got caught up in traffic amongst his own players, and it fell the simplest of tasks for Konate, just to stroke it between players into the empty net. He's been probably the best player of this second half, Konate. I've got to say, his defensive work, now he's got himself on the score sheet.
Well, it's over for Newcastle now. Any questions that lingered about the possibility of a comeback are finished, and so are Newcastle United. And Ibrahim Konate just edges Walter Mada off the ball as the ball goes into the inside right channel. There's a bit of a discussion between Van Dijk and Walter Mada, but Newcastle's wait for a first win in the Premier League at Anfield since 1994 is going to go on and on and on, I'm afraid. It's not quite the perfect warm-up for them either, Stuart, as they return to the Northwest with us on Wednesday night in the Carabao Cup semi-final, a game in which they're already 2-0 behind.
Yeah, as I say, well, they're going to need something and need an early start at Manchester City on Wednesday evening to get something out the game.
Well, I know that the fans have been frustrated here. I know it's been a difficult time for them, and I know that there has been a bit of pessimism around the place. But if you go back a week, you can't say that any of the games that Liverpool have been involved in this week, the Bournemouth 3-2 thriller, the 6-0 Carabao game and the 4-1 Newcastle, have been boring.
No, they've certainly had a few goals to see, that is for sure.
Gakpo harassed by Tonali. Voltamada picks up the pieces. Newcastle try to come out. Tonali plays it behind Will Asula, who can't get on the end of that. It was a poor ball and it goes out of play. We played our 5 minutes of added time and the referee tosses the ball out to the far side. They're going to blow the whistle here. Surely there'll be an eruption of joy inside this stadium. There hasn't been enough to celebrate here. There's been some games that they've found irksome to watch. There's been complaints about the style and the cohesiveness of the team, the lack of goals, but not tonight. It's back-to-back wins for Liverpool and they're under fire, manager. And maybe, just maybe, things are slotting into place. Liverpool didn't have it all their own way, but they show enough Dutch courage to come through this Anfield examination. And boy, did Arne Slot need that. More evidence to suggest that Newcastle are never quite as good away from home in the Premier League as they are at St James's Park. And more evidence to suggest that Hugo Ekitike is one of the signings of the summer. Quite frankly, Florian Wirtz is his biggest rival for that, because those two combined elegantly and ruthlessly to win this game for Liverpool after going a goal behind. And for now at least, Anfield is happy and maybe the red alert is over. Full time at Anfield, Liverpool 4, Newcastle United.
Yes.